Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs at Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs. You know, it's chaos right before the show, but it kind of just
calms down.
It comes down, and here we are.
Yeah.
Christine Robertson,
Thank you for
how
having
are you?
me.
You are the CEO and founder, I should say, of LUCA magazine.
One of the co-founders.
One of the co-founders of LUCA magazine. By the way, a very exquisite
Thank
magazine.
you.
It's incredibly
Thank
well
you
put
very
together.
much.
I mean, it's quality. I mean, it's not something that you just patched up and
No.
just throw it out there,
No.
or one of those magazines you pick up at the El Rancho Market. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right, no, this is exquisitely done.
Put together.
Very,
yes.
very well put together at a
Yeah.
part of a Vogue or Esquire.
It's
or
like
it's
Teen
just
Vogue
very good.
meets 17, so it's a little bit different. It's out of the box.
LUCA means a bringer of light.
Correct.
And you have an amazing story. And the reason you named your magazine LUCA, there's also a story about that.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correct. And so, well, with media today and where we're growing up and where our kids are growing up, there's a lot of just norms that are out there that, you know, girls are like, I have to be this to be successful, and I have to look like this, and I have to be this size. And we thought, oh my gosh, how can we change that?
Those images are largely prejudiced and given to us by media and social media in general.
Correct.
You open up Facebook, you open up all these social media,
Right.
and you have to be a certain size, a certain type,
Right.
and you have to look like this in order
Right.
to quote unquote be successful.
Right, and in 20 years ago, you were still subject to that as women or men,
Yep.
but it wasn't right there in your face all the time. Need to look like this, need to eat this, need to do this, need to do that.
Let me do a little counterpoint to that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it was always there, but because of the ubiquity of social media, that we are so
Absolutely.
now aware and it's in front of us so.
Well, I think it's evolved, right? Because it's a different time. My kids can't play outside. I can't say, hey, come back in when it's
Right.
dark, right?
Right.
It's a different time.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's always been there. There's always been someone to look up to and someone to, fashion yourself after. However, as a woman and as an entrepreneur,
Right.
we want to kind of break those chains and say, you know what? Be who you are, embrace who you are, embrace your talents and gifts. Don't worry about what everyone else is saying, you need to have this hairstyle or wear this lipstick. It's not just about fashion and beauty, which is also fun, but it's about the gifts that you have that you can give back to the community.
Correct, and it's more pronounced now again because of the technology, the spread of information.
Right.
I mean, information is right in front of our face, just like this, all the time,
Absolutely.
and we live with that information. We cannot live without it.
Absolutely, and that's our hope, is that this is just the print part of our company. So we're
Right.
a media company with a print component. And so what our hope is to leave a legacy as we continue to grow this brand to really evolutionize the way that social media is looked at. So instead of just negative things, which you can see it today, Facebook's done it, Instagram is switching over to a more positive platform, sponsoring the more positive,
Right.
integral part of companies that are giving back, the philanthropic side.
Sure.
But we want to create a media company that has an agency with all size models and different cultures and different socioeconomic backgrounds, and bring those all together into a revolution of
This is not
taking it-
Photoshop. This is the real deal.
Correct.
Which
Correct.
is- which
There's
I should
some
emphasize.
photoshopping that goes on, just in the light,
Right.
but we don't make the girls smaller, make them bigger, change their eyes, change their hair. This is all, unfinished, unphotoshopped, and that's what our second issue was totally unphotoshopped.
I'm going to use the word again because I think that very well defines what you do, which is an exquisite magazine, very well put together.
Thank you.
Now, tell me about your journey as an entrepreneur. I mean, you must have had some personal event.
Yeah.
Something happened to you that made you see the light.
Yes,
with this
absolutely.
magazine.
Well, 10 years now, we've owned the Plato's Closet in Chandler. And I was a very young entrepreneur, went to business with my dad, and been in that business in retail for, I'm dating myself now, 17 years, I think now. And so in doing that and starting your own business at 23,
Right.
working at the front of the store with customers, I could do that all day long.
Right.
But as we were talking about kind of earlier, when you're an entrepreneur, people kind of think, oh, they're in the Bahamas, they're in Hawaii. It was driving. I had 2 kids at the time already. My husband's a chef, so he was working crazy hours, and retail hours, as you guys know, are crazy anyway. And I just finally hit a place where I couldn't handle it anymore. It was so much stress. It was am I performing, well enough? Are sales good enough? What's my purpose? I'm running a retail chain. Okay. Am I giving back to anyone? Am I helping anyone? No. And so thinking through all of that and what I could do, because I don't have a degree I have, business experience. I went to UT. I didn't graduate from college. I didn't finish that. I started a family instead. And so I was like, okay, rock bottom. I don't have a degree. Where am I going to go?
You go through that existential crisis. You feel like you're just another cog in the wheel. What happens next?
Mental breakdown. Mental breakdown. My kids were 7 and 5. And we talked about it openly with them relative to their age, of course, and they're completely aware of it. But what happened was, after that breakdown, it was either continue to stay in that place, right? It takes a long time to go through therapy and to make yourself better.
It's a dark place. People that have not been there.
But you have to
It's a very dark place.
choose. You have to choose to want to get better. And
All
I
right.
think that I didn't want to lose my family, and I didn't want to lose my kids. And so my choice was to figure out what we needed to do to move forward. And so that's what, long story short, going through that, I wanted to give back to teens, to young adults, to moms who are going through that same thing, because we know that's still an issue. Mental health is an issue that people don't like to talk about because of the negative stigma. And so that's where this comes in.
And that's what's cool about what you do, Christine, because this is not a vanity play, which, like any other media, it could very well be.
Sure.
This show could be a vanity play, a radio show could be a vanity play.
Absolutely.
Publishing could be a vanity play.
Absolutely.
But what you're publishing here, did I mention the word exquisite? Yeah, a couple of times.
That's Jennifer. That's Jennifer O'Bannon who does all of this. I just talk about it.
Jennifer, you're a genius.
She is.
And of course you are as well. But what you do, my point is that had you not had that experience, I can almost guarantee you, Christine, that the quality of this magazine, the content of the magazine,
Absolutely.
and the why of the magazine would be entirely different.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important to have a why and have a purpose. Because if you don't, then it turns into the aesthetic, materialistic,
Correct.
for the vanity part. But when we built this company, we said, we want to bring the light, we want to help teens, young adults, we want to be global, we want to give back, all of these things, but every decision that we make together as business partners
Sure.
has a purpose and integrity behind it, as well as the companies that work with us in partnership as well.
And it shows. And it
Thank
shows.
you.
I mean, it could be very glaring if it didn't, and if there would be a disconnect
Oh,
between what
absolutely.
you do and the quality of the magazine.
Absolutely.
Did I mention that it looks very exquisite?
Not yet. Not yet.
It is truly
Thank you.
incredible. And
Thank
the
you.
purpose, why you do this, the LUCA name, everything just comes together so incredibly
Thank
well.
you very much. We cannot wait to see what this, we've only been LUCA for 10 months. So this is our,
And the reception from the public?
we're at Barnes & Noble nationwide. This was our first issue at Barnes & Noble, so it was our third issue that went into Barnes & Noble nationwide, and then we just signed a 2-year contract with them.
You're exploding. And after tomorrow, and I say after tomorrow because we debut the Entrepreneurs in Fuego radio show on Money Radio, we signed a distribution deal. It's going to be seen by 10 million people.
Wow.
You're going to explode, man.
Thank you for having us. I can't wait to share this next issue that's coming out with you guys. It's amazing.
You're admirable. Stop by the radio show as well because we want that story to be told.
There's
in
a big
different
story
format.
about bullying in the upcoming issue that we really want to share with a lot of people, so we're really excited to get that out.
Bullying starts from the top, and I have a couple of words to our president about that, but that's another subject.
Yes, I'm happy to come on that show too.
We will. You'll be
Okay.
the guest of honor.
Okay.
Bring a ton of magazines. And can we give this away to the folks around here and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
It is
so
my
much.
pleasure. With that, we're out.